So I'll quickly go into a couple of dislikes that I had about the film, and then I'll talk a little bit about the likes. The dislikes mainly, I only had a few dislikes. It was not a lot of dislikes. One of the main dislikes that I had, if you guys are aware of my Halloween Kills 2022 trailer reaction video that switches up here or up here on one of the screens, top of the screens, you'll notice that I talk about a couple of things, how I wanted to see how they implemented when I first find out from the trailer. Now, the main thing I have that was negative I have to say about this film is I did not like how they made the connection between Laurie Strode and Tommy Doyle. This was a big problem and a big issue with me. It's because I stressed this in my Halloween Kills trailer reaction that I wanted to see how they would put Laurie Strode, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, and have Tommy Doyle's character. I wanted to see how they would make that reconnection back ever since the last time they had seen each other when Tommy Doyle was a young kid and Laurie Strode was a teenager and she used to babysit Tommy. And I would have to say that I was very displeased how they introduced Tommy Doyle back into the film, into the franchise, as in basically we would talk about these legacy characters. I was very displeased about it. I did not like how they implemented him. I think it was just something they just threw in there real quick, and then the whole propaganda speech that he gave at the beginning of the film, I think that was just completely blasphemy and it was not necessary. I was just very displeased by that. No excuse for that, and I think they could have done a better job of implementing Laurie Strode connection with Tommy Doyle. It was just bad and terrible, and I was disgusted with that. Another thing I had a problem with the film is I was not pleased with the dialogue. The dialogue to me was just way off completely. The dialogue did not fit the scenario of, especially of what we were used to of the franchise and the trilogy of Halloween. Now, what I think is the dialogue, maybe like I said, maybe it's possibly maybe the writer basically just completely just say, okay, screw how the dialogue is going to be, as long as we know what our perception of what we want what we want to be portrayed by the audience, what we want the audience to vibe to get. But I just think the dialogue was just completely bad. It's like they were using slogan lines and taglines from previous films that legacy characters had used in the previous films, in the legendary films, and they just kept bringing it up over and over, repeatedly it to where it just got exhausting. So I wasn't pleased with the dialogue. Of my expectations of the film, it did just that. I knew it was not going to be what we were used to. I knew it was going to be just, okay, we're going to show you this kind of real cult horror film going on, and this kind of bloody glory film going on where they just go on a hunt on Michael Myers. That's what I thought. That's just what it was. And like I said, I know a lot of people may have felt, I don't know if you guys agree, but there were a lot of things in this film that you're like, okay, this doesn't make sense, or this doesn't make sense, or why did you put this in the film, or why did you put this in the film? Well, as I said, it's because of the fact that I told you guys, I think that nowadays in Hollywood, in the modern age of Hollywood, I think they're focused. The problem is what I see with a lot of horror films is they're focusing their energy on trying to give people that quick scare, that quick thrill, that quick jump out of their seats, instead of actually getting back to the fundamentals of horror films, which made us all fall in love with horror films, where there were things that built up the suspense. There were things that built up that thrill, that jump scene. I think Hollywood, the modern age of Hollywood, has lost track and lost sight of that, and it's all about now just that quick scare, and it's losing a lot of potential. And this is the problem what I think a lot of people have with the Halloween franchise, is because the expectations. Everyone wants Halloween franchise to every film that comes out to live up to those expectations and give us everything what we want and what we desired in when we first became true fans and diehard fans of Halloween franchise. But we have to understand that that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because Hollywood has lost sight of certain traditional things and fundamental and rudimentary things that brought all of us true diehard horror fans into just the horror genre, period. And I think Hollywood has lost track of that. But this is not to be rated and trash the film. As I said, the film was good. I liked it. It is for what it was. But was I all completely thrilled about it? Was I excited about it? Was it great? No, it wasn't great, but it was good. As I said, I had no problem. There was a lot of things I liked about the film. As I said, because the fact that I knew what it was going to be. I already knew that the film was not going to be all the way focused on Laurie Strode, aka Jamie Lee Curtis, which we know is, like I said it in my reaction video, I think that she was going to play the back seat a little bit, and maybe her daughters or whatever, her daughter or her granddaughter would take the forefront, and basically throughout the majority of the film, and that's what we saw. There were some things, as I said, that like I said, about the traditional things and traditional horror films, what we got from the 70s, 80s, and even in the 90s, and even in the 60s, that traditional horror things that we got out of as a childhood fan, is when we're kids and we're watching horror films, even when you were adult. Things that we valued about horror films. I think that the Halloween franchise in particular, and not just the Halloween franchise, all franchises, but the Halloween franchise in particular, has lost sight of some of these things. As I said, I think it was also cheesy because I can tell how they were taking away some of the roots. When I say the first couple of films in the franchise, in the trilogy, what they gave us, I think that it's just basically they've completely lost track of that and lost sight of that, and that's just why a lot of people may have discussed in the new Halloween films that we get to see. But other than that, it was like I said, the film, it is what it was. It's what I expected. It's a traditional seasonal horror film, and that's just what I got of it, and I'm pretty sure that's what a lot of you may got out of it. As I said, the film was not great, but it was good. There were a few things I stressed to you that I disliked about it, but I liked it. Like I said, it is what it is. Honestly, after I did the reaction to the trailer, and after a while, after they kept showing the trailer, I wasn't too thrilled and excited to actually go, oh, I'm ready to go see it. I was just like, okay, like I said, it is what it is. It's like a traditional horror film. Like when one comes out, I know I'm going to see it, but I'm not going to get all completely majorly excited over it. No, it's not necessary. What I expected of the film is just what I got out of it. But other than that, I want to wrap this up. I want to let you guys to answer the question, especially in the thumbnail. The major question I want you guys to know. This is the answer. So what is next for the franchise? What is next for the Halloween trilogy? And I personally think that what's going to happen, like I told you guys, we have the Marvel DC superhero versus villain just constantly going on battle. That's what I see between Laurie, Strode, and Michael Myers. And I see that every few films that they will bring good old Jamie Lee Curtis out of retirement and have that clash and battle with old Michael Myers. I know a lot of people think that there will be one more film, and then, as I said, they said Jamie Lee Curtis and Michael Myers are going to be both picked off. Now, I did say that when the franchise ends, I said that we're going to keep having this unmovable force, DC, the superhero versus the villain. They're going to keep going back and forth until they both take each other out. But I do think that before that happens, I think that what's going to happen with the franchise, what's next is I think that they're going to switch the narrative, switch the storyline. I think they're going to now, because like I said, it's a seasonal traditional horror film, so I think they'll keep making Halloween films. But I think what's going to happen is that they will change and switch the storyline over to back to Halloween 5, and we'll get the storyline of Jamie, little young Jamie, because we all know from Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, we know that what we got from that film, Halloween 5, there was a lot of things that were baffling, a lot of things that were not clear and given to us, so we were just basically guessing. So I think how Halloween 5, particularly how it ended, it's clear to show that I could see that's the best way how the Halloween franchise would go. Possibly now take the storyline into now the whole storyline, maybe a few films of Jamie from Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. I think that would be, obviously, I think that probably would be the direction they would go. I think that actually would be a good direction to go, even though it may be not maybe the fan favorite best film, Halloween 5, but because of the fact of Halloween 5 itself and everything that happened and occurred in Halloween 5, I think that could probably be a direction that they could possibly go with this franchise for a few films. And as I said, every few films bring good old Jamie Lee Curtis out of retirement to have a little battle with Michael Myers. But I do think that it's possibly that the Halloween franchise may switch the storyline onto back to now going into giving us a whole few films and backstory of the whole thing between little young Jamie and Halloween 5, because like I said, as the way Halloween 5 ended, there's no way that you could say that you understood what happened in that film. The end of that film obviously let us know that there was more than meets the eye and there was more to that story. So I think it would be a good idea for the pick up and continue off. Now, I'm not saying that would be the best choice, but I do think that's a possibility that may be the direction of the Halloween franchise. Now they're going to go and now give us the storyline of a few films of Jamie. Other than that, that's all I have for you say for you guys. But as I told you guys, and I can't stress it enough, I just don't see neither Michael Myers or Laurie Strode dying. I keep seeing it. Like I said, they're just going to keep bringing these two out of retirement to face off against each other because they just become a global icons. You know, like the Marvel or the DC superhero versus villains. But that's all I have for you guys. I want to thank you guys for tuning to the show. Much love and appreciation to you guys. Also, I want to give a major shout out to all you guys. Man, you guys showed major love on that Scream 5 spoiler that I just did. You guys have shown a lot of love on a lot of my videos recently, so I want to give much shouts out to you guys. So expect more content and keep coming, but you guys are really showing me a lot of love lately. So until next time, peace.